Hey everybody, I'm back. Another week. This is week, what, 4 that we're online now. And I have to tell you, every week it gets just a little bit weirder. I'm used to seeing you guys, and then I I'm a little sad that I don't get to see you face to face, but I get so excited to do these videos for you because I know deep down that there are faces, your faces, on the other side of that screen. And honestly, that really helps me to kind of feel like in some way we're still all together. Um, but I do miss you guys. I hope that everybody is doing well, staying safe, taking good care of yourself, and hopefully not doing too much panic shopping. Hopefully, you're watching some good Netflix. And what I'm really hoping is that keeping up with your courses online is helping to give you some sense of normalcy in the state of total and utter weirdness, right? Because this is unlike anything we've ever experienced. Never experienced a global pandemic before, but we're doing it and we're in it together and we can do this. So, this is week 4. Welcome. So, here's what I have planned for you today. Now, as you may recall, I had told you before that when it comes to writing a research paper, that it's my personal goal that the way that I teach you to write a research paper is the way that you can duplicate these excellent results that you're going to get from this process in any course. Okay, so it has nothing to do with discipline at all as far as the genre of study, English courses, and beyond. It doesn't matter what this course what any course that you take will bring. This is a system that you can implement in every single course. So I'm excited about sharing this method with you. So what you're seeing on the screen is the handout that I'm going to post for you in Blackboard. And these are rough notes. I think most of my classes, you saw me searching for sources on the computer, right? And you saw me pulling quotes and noting that even in video, I think when I said, hey, this is where I would probably start pulling quotes right away, as soon as I start seeing sources that I like and that I know I'm going to use. And so this, essentially, the first few pages of this handout is just that. It's just me taking a source and then pulling quotes to include. Okay, so for example, this is the source that I saw, and this is a very rough reference citation, please know that. But this is actually like a rough version of notes for APA format, because I wanted to show you a little bit of both. I just really wanted you to see how this differs from MLA reference citation formatting. So you can see here that the date is near the beginning, right away, right after the author's name, because we talked about the differences in APA and why that would be more pertinent for those studies, for those areas that use APA. So for all those disciplines, of course, the year of publication is going to be of the utmost importance. So you're seeing that here. And then as we move down, these are the quotes that I've pulled from that source. Okay, so I'm doing this for every single source that I know I'm going to use. So I told you guys a minimum of 10 total is what you're going to want. Now, I am very well aware that you might be working with a little less right now because your SA4 isn't due yet. It's not due until the end of the semester. However, so during that last week when you're handing that in, you're still going to need 10 sources on your bibliography or your works cited, depending on whether you're using MLA or APA. However, what you might do is just take the number of sources that you have right now. So whether that's 5 from the SA3 annotated bibliography, whether that's 6 or 7 or 8, take what you have, look through those sources, comb through those sources, and pull quotes. That way, you'll have all of your research in one place, and then you're never having to go back and look at those sources ever again. And I don't want you to be wasting time and constantly having to go back and look at things and look for things. So I wanted to share with you how I have outlined this. So I've got my reference citation. They're not, again, this is a rough reference citation. This is not complete. This is just me in my notes. And I did not put these in alphabetical order because these are just notes. These are the beginning of my research before I do the annotated bib, okay? So we're kind of jumping back a little bit, or jumping back a few steps than where you already are. so I can show you my note-taking skills, and my habit, my system. Okay, so this is what it is. So I put the source at the top, and then I look through that source, I read that source, and I pull all the quotes that I want. And so I put those quotes underneath the source so that they're associated with the source visually. And then what I do is I take whatever the information is that I need, the author's name, the year, the page number, what have you, and I put it in right away. So when I'm pulling quotes, I'm doing the in-text citations along with them. That's really helpful. That gets important later, and you're going to see why. You're going to see in a few pages down on this handout. Okay, so I've got the in-text citations here. These are in MLA format. And I wanted to show you this. So this one was still on page 34 in Wire. But what I want you to note here is that this was said by someone who was not Wire. This is actually something that Professor Jerry Brahmanshank wrote. Okay, so a bee researcher for 37 years and president of Bee Alert Technology Incorporated. So, and I'm just going to put a comma there. So as a result, I wanted to show you how to do this type of in-text citation because I don't think we've talked about this before. So if I'm doing the in-text citation for this, if this is a quote from Brahmanshank, then this is not something that Wire is actually saying, but this is rather a quote within a quote for you, right? Because it's from Wire's text, but it's something that someone else has said. And so if we're doing it that way, if he actually got this from a source and he quoted this other source from this professor, then it would appear this way. So it would be Brahmanshank in Wire 34. Okay, this is the MLA citation for this. Okay, so that's what that would look like. I just kind of wanted to show you that. So that's how you would get this type of citation. I just thought that would be helpful for you. Okay, so then I want to come down a little bit more so I can show you how you can do the in-text citation for MLA and then how you can do it for APA and what it looks like. Now you're going to really use this next week, but I can't help but show it to you now because I think if giving it a little time to marinate will help you to understand how you're going to start integrating these sources. So the first way in MLA is you can insert the paraphrase material. So whatever it is, or the quote, it could be a quote, but the paraphrase material here. And remember, when you paraphrase material, you're going to still use a not reference citation, but yes, that, but also an in-text citation. So you're going to say Wire 34. Okay. If you wanted to introduce the author's name first, you can actually put the citation right behind the author's name. So, and don't worry, I will go over this again next week, and I'll give you more examples. So you'll actually see me writing it right before you on the spot. But I just wanted to go over what this material was so that when you see it next week, you'll know how to use it. So it won't be foreign to you. You will have seen it before. But you can also say Wire 34, and then you can insert the paraphrase material. So you could say something like, in Wire, a buzz over bees, for instance. He states that, and then this would be the paraphrase material. So there's different ways to do the in-text citations. That's what I'm wanting you to see here. You can put it at the end for a paraphrase. You can put it at the beginning for a paraphrase. And then you can put a quote. And if you're using a quote, then you can put the citation at the end. That's usually where we see the in-text citation appear. The in-text citation is only for MLA, the author's last name and page number. And that's it, just as it appears here. Okay, so this is a chance for me to kind of talk about multiple things to you at once. Now, if we look at APA, because I know we haven't talked as much about APA, but I told you, and I still stand by this, that if it behooves you to use APA because this is corresponding to what your discipline is or your field of study is, then you absolutely should use it. You should get used to it. I'm familiar with both, so I can coach you on either one. And so I want to show you this. For the in-text citation for APA, you might have something that looks like this. So the paraphrase material appears here, however that sounds. And then afterwards, you've got the in-text citation for APA. And so again, just as a reminder, it looks different. This is going to come in handy, I think, because you're pulling quotes. And I strongly recommend that when you pull those quotes, that you actually put the proper in-text citation afterwards so that you never have to go, oh geez, what page was that on? Oh no, what book was that? What article was that? What web browser did I use? What search engine did I use? Was it on EBSCO? Was it on JSTOR? Where was it? And so this is going to save you, I think, a great deal of time. And you know when this gets really important? When you're dealing with papers that are very long, like 10-page plus papers where you've got more than 10 sources. You might have 20 or 30 or 40 or more or more or more. And don't even get me started on writing a master's thesis or a doctoral thesis for that matter. If you're going to do any of that, this will save you. And as you approach your other classes and you get into your higher courses, man, I just I cannot stress to you enough how much this has helped me. So I'm hoping that it will help you too. So this is just giving you an idea of how to put this in-text citation and what it will look like in APA. So remember, last name, the year that it was published, and then the page number, right, with the little lowercase p. There's one thing I want to show you here, and I'm going to add this line, and this will be in the handout that I post for you because I'm posting all changes. What if you had multiple page numbers? Like what if this was 34 through 36? If that's the case, you need to put 2 P's. Okay, you get a double P in there. So this is what this would look like. And I'm going to save that because I'm going to post that for you. You're going to get that. Yours is going to look just like this. Okay, so that's that. I've got only a few sources that I pulled here. So I think I've got a total of 3 or 4. There's 1, 2, the Einstein was right is the title here. And I'm saying that this should be in quotation marks, so let me do that and have that be appropriate. Okay, Evans Pritchard. Okay, so I've got 3 sources. From 3 sources, I've pulled a different number of quotes. So here I've got 3 quotes that I pulled. You can see my in-text citation. I wanted to show you this as well. I know, I'm so sneaky. I have so many different ways of teaching you different things. Okay, so I wanted to show this to you. What if, and I've gotten this question from some of you already, what if there's no author, but this is actually a reputable source? See, most reputable sources, they have authors, right? But not all the time, especially not if you're dealing with a government source, which is reliable because experts are writing it, but they're hired by the government to write it. So there are no copyrights for them. It's considered free use, anything published, and which you will see, of course, when we talk about plagiarism, which is coming up soon. And so for that reason, you might not have an author's name. In this case, there's no author's name. So you start with the title. When you alphabetize your annotated bib, of course, you're including this. You're treating the first word of that title, if there's no author, as the last name of all the other authors for all the other sources that you have. And you're using this capital E in order to alphabetize it, okay, in your works cited or your annotated bib. Now, that said, let's scroll down and see. So this is what the in-text citation would look like. If there's no author, then you can't put the author's name in your in-text citation. So how the heck do you do that? Well, this is how. So you just use the title, or you can use an abbreviation of the title. So an example of an abbreviation would be, here's another possibility. I'm going to copy and paste this. And then here's another possibility. Here's what you could do. If all of your other sources start differently, then you could just use the Einstein was right as an abbreviation of the full title, Einstein was right, Plight of the Honeybees. Make sense? Okay.